After a year of chemo, I finally started feeling like myself again. My sister insisted I move in to heal in peace. I gave her power of attorney so she could help. 2 months later, my credit cards were maxed, my accounts were empty, and she was in Cancun. "You weren't using it anyway," she texted. I walked into the bank to close my account, and heard her laughing in the manager's office. "I'm not good at asking for help. Never have been. I've worked since I was 15, raised my daughter on my own after my divorce, paid off my small home in Augusta, Georgia without asking anyone for a dime. I thought I was strong. But cancer makes you weak in ways you don't expect. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in March of 2022. The kind that spreads fast. I caught it just in time, but the treatment almost killed me. Chemo, surgery, radiation, everything but the kitchen sink. My body broke down. My hair was gone in 2 months. I lost weight. I had days I couldn't get out of bed. Nights I just cried and prayed I'd wake up the next morning. I was 46 and felt 80. My daughter was off at college in Tennessee, and I didn't want to burden her. She came when she could, but I told her to stay focused. I could handle it. Or at least I thought I could. By spring 2023, I got the call that changed everything. My oncologist said the scans were clean. I was in remission. After a year of hell, I had survived. And that's when my sister Mallory popped back into my life. We weren't close. She was the fun one growing up. The one with friends, parties, always in someone's car, always planning a weekend trip. I stayed back, took care of Mom when she got sick, paid the bills, raised my kid. Mallory moved to Charleston a few years ago. I hadn't seen her in over a year. She called out of the blue one night. "I heard you're better," she said. "That's amazing, Jules. I'm so proud of you." I told her I was trying to get back on my feet. Still tired most days. Still dealing with side effects and bills. She listened, then said something that I didn't expect. "You should come stay with me. Just for a while. Heal in peace." I laughed at first. "What, move in with you?" "Why not?" she said. "I've got space. You shouldn't be stressing about groceries or yard work. You beat cancer, Jules. You deserve to rest. Let me take care of you for once." I didn't know what to say. No one had said anything like that to me in months. Maybe years. The next morning, she texted me pictures of the guest room. It was clean, bright, with a little reading chair by the window. She followed up with a call, saying she'd come pick me up and help with the move. "You'll get better faster here," she said. I believed her. Within 2 weeks, I was in Charleston. At first, everything seemed fine. She greeted me at the door with a hug, even bought me a bouquet of sunflowers. "You're going to love it here," she said. The fridge was full of stuff I liked. She let me pick what show we watched each night. I felt cared for. Then, week 2, she brought up the paperwork. "It's too much for you right now," she said. "Mail, insurance stuff, bills, you should be resting." "I can help, Jules. You just need to give me power of attorney. Temporary, just while you get your strength back." I paused. I had just fought to stay alive. My brain was foggy most days. I still got dizzy just standing too fast. She pushed gently. "It'll just make things easier. I can handle the bank, help with the bills, talk to the hospital if needed. I'm not doing anything shady, I swear." That last part should have tipped me off. But I was tired. I didn't want more fights or stress. And she was family. So I signed the papers. She took a photo of it with her phone and said, "There. Now go nap or something. I've got this." The next 6 weeks, I tried to relax. I took slow walks, read books I hadn't touched in years, tried cooking again. I didn't look too closely at my finances. I figured she was paying the basics and watching over things. Then, one Monday morning, I tried to order supplements online. My debit card declined. I tried my credit card. Same thing. I sat there staring at my laptop, heart racing. I logged into my bank accounts. My checking had $34.92 in it. My savings, which had $14,000 before chemo, was completely wiped out. My credit cards? Maxed. One of them had a $9,000 limit. It was filled with charges, fancy restaurants, spa services, designer boutiques, plane tickets. Then I saw it. A $4,600 charge to a resort in Cancun. Dated 5 days ago. I texted Mallory. "Where are you?" She didn't reply for an hour. Then this came, "You weren't using it anyway." Face blowing a kiss, I stared at the message for a long time. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to die. She took everything I had left. My money. My credit. My trust. I had beaten cancer. I had survived the worst year of my life. And now I was broke, homeless, and used like trash by the one person who was supposed to care. The next morning, I walked into the bank. I had nothing to lose. I told the teller I needed to freeze everything, report fraud, close accounts if I had to. I was waiting to speak with the branch manager when I heard it. Laughter. That laugh I grew up with. The high-pitched fake giggle Mallory used when she wanted something. I turned my head. She was sitting in the manager's office. Wearing oversized sunglasses, her phone in her hand, laughing like she owned the place. Something in me snapped. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I walked out quietly. And that's the day I decided I was going to destroy her. I sat in my borrowed car across from the bank parking lot for 2 hours. I watched her leave. She didn't see me. She was too busy flirting with the manager, laughing, tossing her hair, swinging her designer purse. She got into a white BMW, one I didn't recognize, and drove off like nothing had happened. Like I wasn't even real anymore. I went back to the condo. My suitcase was still in the guest room. I grabbed it and left without a word. I didn't even take the yogurt I had bought. That night I stayed at a motel off I-26. Cheap place, smelled like cigarettes, but it was quiet. I sat on the edge of the bed and made a list of what I had left. My phone, my clothes, one expired credit card, a half-used notebook, and rage. A deep, steady rage. That was enough to start. The next morning, I called the credit card companies. They put in fraud reports, said they'd investigate, told me I might get some money back. Maybe. But what got me most was how calm they all were. Like this was normal. She had power of attorney, ma'am. It's complicated. Did you willingly give her access to the accounts? Well, technically, yes. Their voices blurred together. I wanted someone to scream with me. To say, this is wrong. But no one did. So I stopped calling for help. And I started digging. I remembered the phone photo she took of the power of attorney form. She never printed it. That was my first stroke of luck. I knew a paralegal from church back in Augusta. I called her, explained everything. She told me something that flipped the switch. If she didn't file it with the court or the bank directly, it might not be valid. Especially if you revoke it before she uses it officially. I asked her to send me a revocation form. She did. I printed it at a FedEx office and mailed it certified to every place I could think of. Then I made an anonymous report to the IRS. Mallory hadn't paid taxes in years. She bragged about it at Thanksgiving once, called it the system paying me back. So I gave them her full name, social security number, and everything I knew about her new businesses. 3 days later, I drove by the bank again. She wasn't there this time. But I noticed something. A nameplate on the manager's desk, J. Mitchell. I remembered something from when we were kids. She dated a boy named Jason Mitchell when she was 17. I checked Facebook. Bingo. Same guy. He'd gotten bald and soft-looking, but still had that look-at-me smile. Mallory had a type. And apparently, Jason worked at the bank now. That explained a lot. I waited outside that bank every day for a week. Just watching. Not following anyone. Just watching. I wasn't sure what I was looking for until I saw it. Jason locking the front door after hours, then Mallory coming out the side entrance with him, holding a manila folder. He handed her something. She kissed his cheek. Then they left in separate cars. I started tracking her phone location. We had each other's iCloud locations on for safety back when I moved in. She forgot to turn hers off. She was staying at a rented beach house in Isle of Palms. I drove out there one night, parked 2 blocks away, and walked along the back alley until I found the trash bins. I took 3 bags and opened them at the motel. It was disgusting. But I found what I needed. Receipts. Bank statements. A list of passwords written on the back of a Panera napkin. One credit card statement showed a payment to a fake LLC, Southern Wellness Consulting. I ran the name through public business records. Guess who the registered owner was? Mallory. Guess who her listed partner was? Jason Mitchell. They weren't just stealing from me. They were running a scam through the bank. Using her access to my accounts, and probably other people's, to fund their fake business and clean the money. It wasn't just personal. It was criminal. I sent everything I found to the FDIC. I sent copies to the state attorney general. Then I made a call to an old friend from high school. She worked in local news now. Off the record, I said. What would you do if someone had documents showing fraud at a bank involving stolen cancer funds and a fake wellness company? She didn't even pause. I'd ask for proof. I emailed it all. 5 days later, I saw the story hit the Charleston news. No names yet. Just whispers about a local bank under investigation for financial misconduct. I smiled for the first time in weeks. Then I went a step further. I filed a small claims lawsuit against Mallory. I knew it wouldn't fix everything. But it would send a message. She finally called me. Not to apologize. She screamed. What the hell are you doing, Jules? You're ruining everything. I didn't yell back. I just said, you stole from a woman recovering from cancer. And you smiled while doing it. Then I hung up. She hasn't texted since. But this isn't over yet. A week after the news broke, everything went quiet. Mallory vanished from her socials. Her Instagram, usually full of bikini shots and beach drinks, went dark. No new posts. No stories. It was like she disappeared. Then I started getting messages. The first one came from a woman named Claire. She said she was Mallory's old roommate from a few years back. I saw the news story, she wrote. She did the same thing to me in 2019. Maxed my card, forged my signature for a rental, then ghosted. I tried to press charges but didn't have the energy. She ruins people. Claire wasn't the last. 3 more women reached out within days. One had been her friend since college. Another, a former coworker. All of them had the same story. Mallory inserted herself during some crisis, divorce, surgery, job loss, and offered help. Then she drained them dry and vanished. But nobody ever pressed charges. Nobody ever followed through. Until me. I was staying in a friend's guest room by then, back in Augusta. Mallory didn't know where I was, and I wanted to keep it that way. But I kept following the case online. A week later, I saw it. Jason Mitchell had been suspended from the bank. The article didn't name Mallory, but it mentioned an unnamed outside associate suspected of using insider access to set up fraudulent accounts. They were under full investigation. Then something I didn't expect happened. The IRS contacted me. Not to thank me, but to ask questions. Apparently, after I tipped them off, they dug into her taxes. Not only had she skipped paying for 3 years, but she'd been claiming medical care expenses under my name, using my cancer treatments as her own deductions. And because I had signed that power of attorney, it gave them just enough of a trail to come sniffing around my records too. I had to hire a tax attorney. I used my emergency credit card, the only one not tied to the ones she drained. The attorney told me flat out, if we don't clear this up, they might try to hold you partially responsible. That's when I realized, this wasn't just about revenge anymore. If I didn't end this the right way, I could go down with her. 2 days after hiring the lawyer, I got a manila envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside was a thumb drive. No note. No message. Just a small, black USB. I almost threw it out. But I plugged it into my old laptop at the library. There were 6 files. Each one was a recorded phone call between Jason and Mallory. In the first, they laughed about how dumb Jules is. Jason said, "You should have seen her face when she walked in. Like a kicked puppy." The second file was worse. Mallory talked about creating fake emails in my name. She said, if she tries anything, we'll just say she's unstable. People pity cancer survivors, but they also don't trust them. The rest of the files? Plans. They were planning to open another account in my name in Texas. Buy a car. Flip it. Use the cash. My stomach turned. They weren't just thieves. They were predators. I checked the thumb drive for metadata. It had been created that same week. Someone wanted me to have this. And I had a feeling I knew who. Claire. I called her, and sure enough, she cracked. Jason gave me the drive, she said. He's scared. They're turning on each other. He thinks Mallory's going to pin it all on him. He wanted to cover himself, but didn't want to send it directly. I told her thank you. Then I took the file straight to my lawyer. Within days, we handed it to the state investigator. Things moved fast after that. A subpoena was issued for Mallory's bank records. Then Jason's. Then the fake LLC. They matched the voice on the recordings to Jason. Mallory's voice was clear as day too. Now it was official, they were both suspects in a fraud investigation totaling over $60,000. Then I got the best news of all. The IRS had cleared me completely. They flagged Mallory's activity as criminal fraud, and my revocation of power of attorney stood. I was safe. But Mallory? She was done. And she didn't even know it yet. 2 weeks later, I was called to testify. Not in court yet, just a deposition for the state's fraud case. My lawyer sat beside me. The investigator across the table laid out a series of printed emails, voice transcripts, bank statements. One after the other. All pointing to Mallory. I told them everything. How I'd signed the power of attorney. How I trusted her. How I found the receipts, tracked her phone, handed over the evidence. They didn't ask me why I did it. But I told them anyway. Because no one ever stops her, I said. She's done this for years. She waits until people are too broken to fight. Well, I wasn't broken enough. They nodded. They didn't smile. But I think they understood. A few days later, I found out they raided her beach house. She wasn't there. But Jason was. They took him out in handcuffs. A neighbor filmed it and posted it on Facebook. I watched it on loop that night, sitting on the couch with a mug of tea and a blanket over my knees. It wasn't joy I felt. It was something colder. Like a door quietly locking shut behind me. Mallory didn't go down easy. She tried to run. They found her 2 days later at a private rental in Savannah, using a fake name. She had cash on her, new IDs, and a burner phone. She told the officers she was just on vacation. But they weren't buying it. When they arrested her, she screamed. Said I was crazy. Said I faked the whole thing. That she was helping me recover. The DA charged her with 6 counts of fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. Jason pled guilty fast, cut a deal to testify against her. Claimed she manipulated him. Said she forged more than just my name. He got 14 months in a federal facility. She got worse. She went to trial. I sat there in the courtroom every day. Not for her. For me. She looked different, tired, thin, no makeup. She scanned the room each day but never looked at me. Like I didn't exist. The recordings were played in full. The emails. The texts. That awful line she texted me, "You weren't using it anyway," face blowing a kiss, was printed in giant letters and displayed to the jury. The jurors looked sick reading it. On the 4th day, she took the stand. I loved my sister, she said. I never meant to hurt her. She was sick. She didn't understand what was happening. She cried. And for a moment, just a second, I felt something crack in me. Not forgiveness. Just sadness. She used to be my sister. Now she was a stranger. They found her guilty on all counts. The judge didn't hold back. He sentenced her to 7 years in prison, with a minimum of 4 before parole. He said, "What you did was calculated, cruel, and cowardly. You targeted someone who had just survived a nightmare. And you turned their recovery into a trap." Her mouth hung open. She didn't cry then. She just looked stunned. Like she didn't believe actions had consequences. That was the last time I saw her. After the trial, I didn't celebrate. I went home. Started over. Got a part-time job at the public library. Kept my head down. Began slowly rebuilding what she tried to destroy. The IRS let me off the hook. The banks reversed most of the charges. Not all. I'm still in debt. But I can breathe again. And that's something. I still don't talk to most of my family. Some of them think I went too far. That I should have handled it privately. That jail was extreme. They didn't see the receipts. They didn't see what she left me with. Cancer took a year of my life. Mallory almost took the rest. But I didn't let her. Not because I'm strong. But because no one else was going to stop her, and I was finally done being the quiet one. So I stood up. And I made damn sure she couldn't hurt anyone else again.